Now, when you say about someone maybe challenging someone with all the belts, I know he didn't have all the belts anymore, but it kind of brings me back to Teo and Josh Taylor. Um, that fight that took place over the weekend, and I'll be the first to say Teo made me eat my words because I thought Teo would lose that fight. I've been on the record for years with just you and I where I thought Josh Taylor was the better fighter. Now, I'm not going to make an excuse if it's Josh Taylor. I do have questions about his performance, but nevertheless, Teo embarrassed him. Like he was treating him like how he was treating the guys that he was backflipping on when he was on his road to,
Yeah.
getting the title and fighting Lomachenko. It was times where he was, Teo would look away and Josh still didn't hit him. I'm like, whoa. So is the takeover back in full effect?
Seemingly right now, it looks like he's back in effect. And it's so crazy because Teo made me look so bad. I was rooting for this guy. I'm like, yo, this guy right here, he's the real deal. I'm like, he'll beat Devin Haney, he'll beat Josh Taylor. Like, this is before Josh Taylor was undisputed. I'm like, yo, the potential this kid got. Then the Cambosa shit happened and things went left. And I just couldn't believe what he was like, how he was performing. Therefore, after the excuse he started making, okay. Then he moves up to 140 and his performances after that, I'm like, yo, he's not the same fighter. I only could go based off of just so much information in the real world. I can't keep blindly, following a fighter if they're showing me otherwise. You get what I mean? So at this point, I would have to say the takeover is back. He looked arguably better in this fight against Josh Taylor than he did against Lomachenko. And one thing that was interesting, and we spoke about this as well, his father even mentioned it before the fight, that, and it may be a good explanation because now it makes sense. They took on a different style from the Cambosas, his last three fights, excluding Josh Taylor, right? Where they made Teofimo kind of press forward, be more of an aggressive fighter as opposed to his natural counter punching, bounty ability. And his father said it like he tried to shape his son to be someone he's not. And Teo was like, no, we're gonna go back to his old style when he was beating Nakatani, Comey, and Lomachenko. And he was right because the way he looked was very synonymous of that, right? So he looked like vintage Teo. But he did announce his retirement, of course, which I think it's a ploy to probably get more money. He'll be back.
Yeah.
That's Teo. If he fights like this against, like, if Devin Haney moves up to 140 and fights this version of Teo, I think Haney will be in trouble.
Yeah. So I'll say this, Teo. Yes, I'm all for people getting their money. Yes, he deserves more money. A 9-figure contract, Teo. I don't know if that's realistic, but get as much money as you can. I support that. But yeah, he looked amazing, and like Josh Taylor. But I'm gonna say this. You might think it's a bit petty, but Josh Taylor was landing the body shots that Devin Haney was landing, and it seems like he didn't get the same credit that Devin got for landing them body shots. But never.
Right, you're absolutely right, bro. You know what's crazy? But the judges, they had the fight really close.
2 of them did, yeah.
So
maybe
113.
So maybe the judges gave him credit for it, but like the masses did.
The masses, the general public, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You think the layoff and Josh Taylor's, injuries and training camp had a role to play? Because I feel like this Josh Taylor wasn't the best Josh Taylor that was collecting all the belts to become undisputed, in my honest opinion, just to be fair.
I think something had an effect. I can't pinpoint what it is. I don't know if it's the weight cut. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know if it's layoff, because regardless of what you think the outcome of Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis was a close fight. I personally had Josh Taylor winning, but Regis Prograis is a hard hitter, one of the top guys at 140. And, Josh looked like a real live dog in that fight, and probably every fight I've seen from him. I thought he lost to Catterall, but I won't necessarily say he didn't look pathetic. It just Catterall kind of looked better. You know what I'm saying? Like over the weekend, Josh Taylor looked pathetic. Like Teo was hitting him like back, like he was like stumbling, like fatigued all over the place. He was hitting Teo and it had no effect, which was shocking to me because even at 135, when Teo fought Loma, like when Loma started getting it going in those rounds, I feel like his punches were backing Teo up. Like Josh Taylor would land and Teo would just stand there like. And I think once Teo felt like, yo, listen, what you throwing can't hurt me. That was the end of the fight there because he just started styling on him, dancing on him, looking away, all types of stuff. And I was like, yo, I
Yeah.
yo might have did a backflip during one of the rounds. I thought it was coming.
Nah, to be honest, I didn't think it was gonna be this wide of a gap, and it's so crazy because I still felt like there was certain rounds, like in round 7, and I think it was like round not like Tio started like he started taking rounds off, like he was comfortable.
Yes,
Like he
yes, yes,
felt
yes.
comfortable enough to take rounds off. Like I still felt like he wasn't even 100% against Josh Taylor. He was so comfortable in there. It was crazy. It makes me think even the best version of Josh Taylor collecting those belts, if he would have showed up that night, I'm still not confident he beats that Teofimo, only
Yeah,
because of the game plan that they had. Try to press and run, and he was running into punches at times, and that's his
yeah,
style. Like, you know what I mean? At first, he was kind of catching, Tio in the beginning, especially the first 2 rounds. But then as the fight progressed, it looked like Tio started timing him. And I think what really was throwing Josh Taylor off, which also was very surprising to me, is Teofimo's speed. The
yeah, yeah.
speed of his punches was lightning fast, and it looked like Josh was just bewildered. He just didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, and I'm not placing blame on the ref, but I just think the ref didn't let Josh fight the fight that he wanted to fight, which was more so of a dirty fight where fighting out of the clinch. You know, like sometimes let's say like
He
a
did it a couple
basketball
times,
game,
but
uh,
I get what you
you know,
mean.
like a basketball game or a football game, you kind of got to go with how they're like refing the game. It might be more physical, might be less physical, but you have to adapt. I feel
Right.
like he never adapted. Every time there was some kind of clinch, the ref immediately broke it up. And then there was a couple rounds though that I potentially gave to Josh, even though I had Tio win it because like it was like some weird exchange where the ref didn't necessarily say stop, and then Josh would hit him, and Tio would look like, "Yo, how you let him do that?" But like the ref didn't really say stop, and I don't know if people were giving Josh credit for those. I was because I didn't really have it dirty unless the ref, you know, adamantly said stop. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like there was like one time Josh even like kind of hit him twice when he were looking away, but I'm like, why are you looking away? Why are you not fighting? And I like scored those as clean hits, but nevertheless, in the grand scheme of things, I still had Tio winning. But what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, and I was gonna say that. Now, definitely, that's a good point. At one point, the ref did like a couple times. He said, "Break." Remember, T almost fell out the ring. Hit him like, and
Crack.
Tio was like, "Yo, what's going on?" But I do get your point. Like, I was watching a video with Hackett, in Philly, where he was saying, if you're talking about taking a guy's life, you gotta be able to fight those. You can't be complaining.
Hmm.
You gotta get out the mud. You know what I mean? You gotta get
Yeah,
so. So, so
that's on YSM Sports. I like that channel. I like that channel.
I'm not gonna lie, I always watch that channel. Sure.
Yeah. What I had one more point, I believe, on the Tio thing. So Tio's now a champion at 140, right?
Mhm.
And how do you like the lay of the land at 140? Let's say we got Tio, we got Rolly, we got Regis Prograis, we got Ryan Garcia, who I assume will be at 140 now, potentially Devin Haney, and there's one more champion at 140. I was literally just listening to Regis talk about him, and Regis like, yeah, I'm not sure he's gonna be able to handle what I can bring for him. But Regis was saying essentially, you think Tio may be the big fight for him at 140. Now he said after he saw Josh's performance,
Mhm.
he might not even want to rematch Josh. He said, the inherent bias in him kind of wanted Josh to win because he wanted to avenge that loss. But he was like, after that performance, he's not even sure he wants to fight Josh Taylor anymore.
Yeah, to be honest, and I feel like just from a narrative standpoint, T.O. winning was probably the best thing.
Oh yeah,
Especially with the potential matchup between him and Haney. Like,
yeah, him,
I'd love to.
him, Haney. I'm not even gonna lie. I think him and Rolly will even be interesting because they'll talk so much. Like you'll just want to see it because they're gonna talk so much stuff. Even though Tio's a way better fighter than Rolly, but the only thing is Rolly has that. You never know that big shot. You know what I'm saying? But Tio's a
Yeah,
way better fighter than Rolly.
for
But
sure.
but I think the sneaky matchup at 140 that guys aren't gonna really give his credit until he goes up there and do some work. I think Ryan Garcia could be good at 140. That's not necessarily for today, but I think Ryan Garcia could be good at 140.
Yeah, he definitely has the potential, especially if what he says is true in
Mhm.
terms of rehydrating, right, and feeling strong at that weight. We will just have to see if the fight comes to fruition between him and Rolly, which I'm very interested to see.
Yeah.
I would like to see how he performs off of that, and then kind of base my assessment on how he comes back for sure.
Me too. Me too. I would listen. I like Ryan. I think Javante is a level above. I just think Javante's on another level. T.O. and his dad been calling out Javante, and Floyd said that's the fight they want to see. I still think Javante is a level above, and I think
Yeah.
if he gets in there with T.O., I think we're going to see the difference. But one thing though, I would say it's pretty interesting. Like I said, I know Ryan. People are going to say Ryan. He got stopped. He looked like a punk. Whatever. I still think he's a pretty good fighter. Like these guys aren't on Javante's level. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If he fights Tio, that leaping right that he hit Josh Taylor with, that's not landing on Ryan Garcia. I I don't think so. I'm not saying Ryan will beat him. I'm just saying like that is as a pro fighter, that Josh Taylor, I think that's embarrassing to let him land that punch on you. Like how he
Yeah.
just like leaped in with that. Like Ryan's left hook will be in effect at that point.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, his left hook will, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan get caught with that shit though. Cause Ryan, bro, because I didn't Luke Campbell catch him with a leaping hook, or was that a no, I
I don't
might be
know.
wrong. I might be wrong.
Nah, Luke kind of fainted. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah,
more strategy. That TO leap is so disrespectful. It's just like,
yeah, because he leaped and then T.O. leaped from further. I know he's
yeah,
explosive. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of yeah.
nah,
And
nah.
and to offset that, Ryan's left hook, and I think T.O. won't dare even try to think of. I think he just felt more comfortable doing it with Josh because he knew
Tio's
Josh
gonna
didn't
do
have
it.
that left hook.
Tio's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
I think if he's comfortable enough, he gets crazy like
Yeah.
that. I'm not gonna
Nah,
lie.
nah, but like you said, kind of wrap up the TO topic. I do think him winning it makes it more interesting because these fights are very interesting now with him and a lot of those guys who moved up from 135. We still got Regis there, but those guys who moved up from 135, and there if we ever possibly get Tank to move up to 140, it'll just be even more depth. I'm not sure that he will because he says a 135 pounder, but I'll say this and I'll end here and I'll go back to you. If Tank does move up to 140, it'll look kind of bad to me because he told Ryan I'm not a 140 pounder. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah,
that would look terrible on his. Then it's like, oh, you just made an excuse. Like that would be a bit
yeah,
shiesty. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.